Yeah. And, yep. You have to go down, down. Number three. And then it's going to be that one. We're going to do. I start. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. We go on. So I think everybody more or less can understand that this is a game that is very strategic. It's about how, what kind of business model innovation do you want to do, and therefore draw up a logo for a project called GreenBiz, where this business actually also were involved. And I'll just show you a small story on how the logo came up, and maybe you can see that there is a reference to the tools that you have learned for the first 3 days. Okay, let's play.
I did my bachelor about architecture design. My name is Xinyu Zhu. I'm from Shanghai, China. You can call me Zhu. I did my bachelor about architecture design, and then I worked as an architect for a few years and finished some different projects there in China. And then I found the challenges around me. It's not design, it's not the engineering process, it's more about the business. And Denmark came to me because first of all, it has like my favorite design styles. They have easy and cozy.
Oh, can we raise the sound? Okay. Oh, yes. Good. Just continue.
The culture, and they have the less more for design principles, I would say. And also for the business part, Denmark is kind of small country, but it has several global business. And I want to know how Danish people do business, how the programs are taught in Denmark. So I came here to learn. So the program is 2 years. So I'm now doing my math thesis. So it's last semester. It's at 1 year and a half now. We are led by Peter Lindgren. He taught us about his business model, his business ecosystem, and this is very fascinating for me. So Peter asked me, "Can you do a logo for us?" Okay, I didn't did that before, so I take that. It's very challenging, but it's very interesting. The logo is the word came from logic. So I believe the logo should have logic behind. So I need to set up some principles for the logo for GreenBiz. I hope that when people have the first look at the logo and it has some like basic idea of what the logo might mean behind it. So I use the color green. GreenBiz is a project here in CGC. They help business to become green because the global environmental problems And because most of the business are not so green right now, so this project help those business to, for example, reduce their emissions to become more green in the world. Green comes the word grow, actually. So if we do a green business, then we need to reduce the environmental impact. So this is a logo I designed for Greenpeace project. The logo illustrates the business work and the development process from the existing black business model to new green business model. There are three main elements for the logo design. First is the business ecosystem. Second is the B star. They are all developed by Peter Lindgren. And this is the third, which is the most important, is the Greenpeace project. So first step, the business ecosystem is translated into a shape, which is like a butterfly. And the B star is also translated into a shape that would be easy for design. And this is the most important process to explain how would a business model transform from the dark business model to green business model from this business ecosystem. So I make these elements into shapes which will be easy to design. But it's exposed. I don't want them to be so far away. I want them to look more holistic. So I try to do something like this. I think it's good. So I give them an outlook. Then it's like a B-star model again. And then I give it a green look, green color. And then I make it more stronger. Finally, I make this green base logo with a G looking outside. So when you travel from the beginning, you travel from dark to the end green. So that's also explain how a business model could become green through this green base project process. So that's the how way it look from the shape and some green color become more stronger and the end the green base logo. This is one of the most interesting tasks I had in this green base project. And when I got this task, I was very eager to try it. And I want to make something that will make everyone happy here. I make the one and I asked Peter, this is the first.
So here you see an example of the lab I had in Denmark. Now I have changed from Aarhus University to Copenhagen Business Schools, and also I'm focusing much more on I'm focusing much more on CITIF Global Capsule because my vision is that, as you can see, this lab here, where it has a mix of lab equipment and we are experimenting. We have 5 labs where we are doing different things, is to put these out on the globe. So I have proposed NIT's Silja here to establish a lab. So we could start here, maybe very simple, it doesn't matter. And then we could connect to all the other labs around. And I'm seeing a lot of PhD students that are doing different topics and so on. Yesterday I visited the drone lab, and we were flying to identify species in the garden with these drones. And then we were thinking about we could maybe make a project here where we can actually measure biodiversity as the fourth of the fourth one of the green parameter. So if we could have the drones to specify the biodiversity or help us, because this is not done in a circular and sustainable business model thing, and I think it could be a fantastic project, and I'm very sure we can get a lot of funding to it. So my vision is, and that's why I'm in India here, I hope to have 5 labs before we go out of 2025. Yesterday we had a nod from one university in TNA, and we hope that we have also made a close in Charter University. So why not in here in NIT Silchar? But back to the logo here, you can see what Sue has done here is that she has tried to make this logo for Greenbiz, and it's actually embedding a lot of the tools here. But it's not so much about that she has done a fine work, because she has indeed done that. But it's actually also saying that the circular and sustainable business models is not something that you can just go like. You have to do it strategically, and we saw also on the floors yesterday. You have so many things you can do, but you cannot do all at once. So what you have to do is you have to choose strategically where do you want to put your focus. And that is one of the challenges also with entrepreneurs. That is that they do too much, they do too many things, and they don't have a focus. And maybe yesterday you felt also I tried to force you to say, okay, you can only take one business model, and it's natural. Everybody likes to ideation and bubbling and so on, but in the world of business, you have to come to a point where you bring to market. You have to come to a point where you say, okay, scale up. And if you can't, and you're not willing to do that, you run away as soon as it gets critical. Then we will not get anything out of the circular and sustainable business model. Let's just finish this video.
Version of Greenbiz logo. Do you think is there anything that I need to do for those logo? No, Peter said. It's very good. So I'm happy. He is happy. Then we use this logo. I'm from China. It's a country that has a lot of environmental problems. And I'm a very green person. So I like to make the environment more green. I would prefer to hear first in Denmark how people do their business in practice. And then maybe after a few years or after a period, I will go back to China to use my knowledge in real projects to help people there in China. Or if I can help them with my knowledge learned here, yes. But before that, I would prefer to learn how people are practicing here in Denmark. For example, maybe I could go to companies to see, or talking with different people how they do them really in practice. There are a lot of good ideas, a lot of good thinkings and technologies here that help the environment. I think Danish culture is like that. They care a lot about the environment, and that's what we lack in China.
Yeah. We'll take the next one, yes. Okay, so I hope I get you a little glimpse of our lab and how we work. The way we are working our research group is that we believe very strongly on the young researchers, and we just have to make a kind of an ecosystem where they feel good, they are smiling, they are happy, and then they are working with something that is important for them. So that could be anything nearly. And we are trying to find into where do they want to focus on the circular and sustainable business modeling. So right now we are writing two applications. One application is on Greenpeace 2, and it will probably change name to circular and sustainable, but it will be a Greenpeace 2 building on top of the results of what we had in Greenpeace 1. It will still be Nordic countries. Maybe we will include Finland also, so it's Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, and Finland. But then we are working on a second one where we want to involve India, and it's a much more larger thing because it's including what I think I showed you a small glimpse, this Green Lab Skive that we saw yesterday, and maybe a little bit later today we can see the video from Greenland Skive, because it's on a much higher level, and it's much more complex also. But this is what we are trying to work on. Let's go for the next. And yeah, and then what I would recommend you, also I will upload the digital list, is that if you through these days have had an interest of this field, then please go and have a look at this lady Bokken, because she is one of those who have the basic literature on circular and sustainable business models. Next. And the other one that could be, you can also have a look into, is mentioned through these slides here. What you will see is that historically there has been a development, so that it actually started with the kind of the green, and then it went into the sustainable, and then finally we are on the circular thing. Business model wise also, as I mentioned down here, that is that classically on business models we have been thinking about linear business models, but when we go into addressing the circular, then it means actually that we have to think about the whole circle, and that challenge those who are built on linear business models. And what I mean about linear business model is that there has been a long tradition that if I sell this bottle of water and I sell it to this young man over here, then I have nothing to do with it. I have no responsibility. It's up to him. But this is changing now. So actually, when I sell this one in Europe, I have to document what happens with this bottle. So, for example, if I'll give you an example from the fish industry. So, if I sell fish nets to the fishermen, then I have to document what happens with the fish net when they are not good quality anymore. And that's what happens is that it has to be brought back to the harbor, and then there is a whole system that has been built up where they actually take it and work with it. So if we can switch again to the Greenpeace again. And one of my researchers, she's deeply involved in this in Sweden. And then we have to go down to the videos. I think videos again. And I think it's number, let me just see, number 1. Just a moment. 2. Let's go for 2. Just a moment. Let's go a little bit down. Number 3. Okay, then we have to go back to number 2. I think it was. I was sorry about that. This one.
The Greenpeace project aims at reducing energy consumption and increase the green energy consumption. My name is Peter Lindgren. I'm a full professor at Aarhus University and coordinator of the Greenpeace project. The Greenpeace project is a project that started back in 2020.
And we'll just go a little bit back. If you go back to this, little bit back again, Yeah. Yes, that one. Yes. A little bit back. That one. Yes. So here you see this is a fisher net that are brought into the harbor. And then Emma Ek, one of my PhD students, she's working with recycling these fish nets. And even more, she's also working with, I don't think you can see, when you know lobsters, yes. So when you fish lobsters, you often have them in, you have some boxes where you put them out to sea. And what happens often with the lobsters is that these boxes, they are forgotten. So what you maybe can imagine is that the lobster has been caught in the box, but nobody comes and collects it. So she has innovated a project on Save the Lobsters. And you might say, this is crazy, why should we do that? But she's actually trying to take care of the lobsters so that they don't die just out there with staying in the box, but they are actually, so they have made some system that can indicate where is these boxes. Maybe there is a storm or whatever. But also in the fish net, the fish net is brought, some of it is sailed to Denmark, and then it is it's chopped up and used for plastic. So it comes into small grains of plastic at a business just 100 kilometers from where I live. You could discuss that transporting the fish net from Sweden to Denmark, that is maybe not the best thing to do in a CO2 perspective and a circular thing, but that's how it works today because not many can do it. One thing that is challenging with the fish net here is that there is a lot of sand in the fish net. And the sand is not good for the production technology. So they have to tear it apart manually also before and sort it into different fractions. And you can see here, this is a small ball that is used to have the net hanging in the water. And this has also to be taken off, but who would like to buy it? And another thing which is very, very challenging is that there is salt in this, and salt is extremely aggressive to metal and so on. So there's a lot of things here that you have to take care of when you work with this. What they have done is they have made a kind of a symbiosis center. I told you, I think 2 days ago, about this lady that had found some ingredients in some water that were used for breeding eggs for fish and so on. And this is just grown tremendously, and this is one part of this. What is also a little bit interesting related to this case and to the scrap business is, you remember, we have the environmental arrow or parameter, then you have the business parameter, then we have the social parameter. And to make this fish nets up to something that can be used in another business, you need to have labor. You need to have people that would like every day to go to work and do this. And they have built an enormous kind of business that you can see on the backside, some of it, where people that are unemployed, they actually come and then they get a living out of this. It's not high money, much money, but it's still better than being unemployed. So they are actually building a social, you can say, a part on this symbiosis center. So when these people, they come every day, then of course there is a question: how, what should they eat for lunch? So that has actually generated a new social project where people that are unemployed, that would like to go into cooking and so on, they actually have their own restaurant. And I tried it many times. It's fantastic. And you know, those who do the cooking, they have the power themselves each day to decide what to cook. So you can get some of the most fantastic fish menus. You can get a lot of different things. Every day is different. So you know, they build up these people that are, you know, they have maybe been unemployed for 3, 5, 10 years, and then, you know, they suddenly grow up. They get responsibilities. They get proud of themselves. I will nearly say again, and they are together with other people, which actually gives a whole new dimension of their life. The challenge is, you might not be understanding this, but the number of unemployed people in Western countries are so low that it's very, very difficult to get human resource that is unemployed. So they have now started to build a bus system where they actually go out and collect people around. And then bring them to this place every day and back again. Then you say, okay, that's maybe a good story, Peter. But what it does actually is that all the bus routes in the rural areas have been laid down literally in Western countries. All the transport system are concentrated on the big cities. They have even taken money out of the rural areas bus system and then drag it to the cities. And then, you know, so now this bus system is actually building up what was used to be, and it's now a vital system for the even having this recycling of the fish nets. And you might have heard that fish nets, if they are maybe cut, can be a ship or something that just go over it and then cut it. Then you have these fish nets, which they call ghost nets, and they are floating. So you are actually doing also some good because these ghost nets they catch whales and fish and a lot of other species that are in the water. So all in all, you actually can feel that you are building up something where people they really think this is important for me to go to work every day because I'm actually doing something that is important. This has also generated a new project called the SIR project, SIRR. And if you go and tap it with EU, then you will see that it's actually a network of different rural areas that has come together. They are subsidized by European Union, where they many of these areas have realized that young people they leave the rural areas. So they have taken up the challenge. How can we build up again? How can we attract the young people to come back or still have connections to where they used to be? And it's a little bit funny because what you see, and I'm not religious about it, I'm not a politician, I'm a researcher, but what is very funny is that the young people, they come from the rural areas, they go to the universities, they study. What happens? Some of them don't get job, so they actually get unemployed, but they're in the cities now, they're not in the rural areas. And that is very, very costly for the cities, because in Denmark, for example, you are, if you are a big city, you have responsibilities for these, it's actually educated people. That is why we are now on a third project, where the title is called Human Capital, Waste and Potential. And this is nothing with waste of fish nets. It's actually waste of human beings. And I guess that's a little bit more important than waste of physical materials and so on. But this is just to tell you that this is a growing, and it's growing in many directions. Let's go back to the slides. And please, if you have any questions, I think you can imagine that those who are involved in these projects, you can see that they, you remember I talked about that you have to be your business, be business. They are really, really proud of their, what they are doing. And you can really see when you meet them, you can really feel that there's a lot of values given out here, because they really are the business. Let's go further on. Yes, so this morning we have talked about these three areas, and the model is also related to Bokken. And we have talked about the dilemma, the paradox between the environmental, the economic, and then we have touched upon the social. And they are equal important, but we have maybe for a long time focused enormous much on economic, and when we started to do the green, we went on the environmental, on the 4 areas, not so much on the biodiversity yet, but more on the 2-3 other things. Yes. So finally, I think in this second session, I will just mention 7 points that I think you should take notice of. That is that the motivation for our definition for transforming is based on at least compatibility with environmental, economic, and the social. The second thing is that we believe strongly that if we should have some business model here, that we should believe could be sustainable and circular in the future, we have to offer competitive or cooperative financial and other value long-term prospects. So the co-opetition I mentioned in I think the first day, and that is this famous book on co-opetition of Nadelhoff, where they actually say that what we should do is we should try to co-op. It's not because the difficult thing is if we don't compete, then we will get a little bit lazy. We have to still, compete each other, but in a cooperative way. So, for example, when I was in Italy, we have these clusters in Italy. I think they have 780 clusters. These clusters are, for example, one cluster is for gear motors. So everybody that are experts on gear motors, they are actually placed in near to each other. And they are always competing each other, but in the evening they sit at the nice Italian restaurant and the bars, and then they exchange bubbles and what they are doing. And then even also if they get too large order, they share it with each other. So this is number 2. Number 3, if we go next, that is that the circular sustainable business model characteristics of the to-be business model and changed as is business model. So it means that, for example, if I have a used car and I then try to change it, is related to the circular sustainable business model's value proposition and its entire value process. So we should not continue on just giving this away. We should actually think about the whole value process and the whole value stream cycle. And then I did an analysis together with some of my young PhD students. And this was looking into, you can probably glimpse that I have put the 7 dimensions of the business model here. And then I had looked into business model reconfiguration, business model development, and business model design. This is 3 terms that are used by Tucci and some of the good business modelists. So the design is innovation. The reconfiguration is where you actually take an old business model and then you reconfigure it. And then the second one is where you are in the development, over here in this area. And then I took the chance to ask 106 small and medium-sized business. What are you doing? What are you doing related to greening your business? And what I found out was that they are mainly focusing on competences. Would you believe that? They are mainly focusing on, or they were mainly focusing on the competence dimension, the gray one here. And then you think, oh, that's nice, because then they are focusing on people. No, they are not. They are buying technology to make their business more green. The main focus is on the technology. And where this has some, I can't remember, I think it's 4 or 5 years ago we took that. The interesting thing is that we are now having projects where we are focusing on the humans, because they cannot get the technology to give them the advantages and the benefits. So we are now, there's a whole new change. So more and more of the business model, the circular and sustainable business model projects, they are focusing on humans. Even the new projects we just got on green production, We got it because the funding giver, he said, you are focusing on people. Next. Okay, the fifth one is, and then I think I'm close to finish. That is that we have to realize that we need to have a look at the opposite butterfly, and we have to find out where in this one will we where will we focus. So you can see here that you have different layers, and the strategic thing is to find out where do you want to focus, and there are many opportunities. And then about this one over here, this one I have not gone into yet, but what we have to realize is that we are not alone. That was also mentioned in some of the videos. We are not alone as a business. We need to have the whole network to play, and this is what we have developed a model called the relationship axiom. Then finally, but not least, we have to focus on the business model as a kind of a living organism, and we have to look at it as for its whole lifetime. So if we are in the designing phase, we should actually think very, very, very much about what kind of materials are we putting into the business model. Is it something that can be done something with when it has overcome its usability? And that's why a professor at Aarhus University, he is working with the I'm not sure how it works, but actually if you could think about, you have a windmill, and then you sit with a computer, and then you say tear it apart, and then all the different components, materials, and so it goes apart because it's programmed so that you can actually tear it apart. Just like how that works, I don't know, but this is actually what modularization is also another word here. Okay, I think we are close to finish this lecture. I hope I have given you a small taste of what we are going to work with in next coming lectures. Okay, thank you. Is it a good time to?